Now can I start? Okay, let's go. I have the pleasure to have the last session. And yes, today I'm gonna talk about electronic invoicing and e-reporting. This is a topic that it's not very technical, but it's a mix between technology and taxes. Okay, so my presentation here, I will give you just an introduction. What is electronic invoice and what is e-reporting? So, and later on, I will explain to you how SAP, let me say, solved this need for the customers. No? So they introduced a product called SAP Document and Reporting Compliance. Well, let's go. So here's the agenda. Basically, I will be talking, I will give a short introduction. Then I will go to the topic eCompliance. Later on, I will talk about SAP Document and Reporting Compliance. And at the end, a short closing or conclusion, as you okay? So let's go to the next slide. My name is Felipe Borges. I am from Brazil. I'm living in Europe over 22 years. I lived in Germany 13 years. Then I moved to Austria. Also lived there for years. So, and then I met my wife, of course. She's from Spain. And then I came to Spain. And I'm living here since 8 years. Okay, so, and I'm working with SAP over 12 years. So, and since from the beginning, my career started as a developer. Then I moved to SAP and started as a SD consultant. But I love the topic electronic invoice because I'm Brazilian. Later on, you will understand why I work with this topic. And yes, now I start my own company. It's called Convig, and we are experts on SAP Document and Reporting Compliance, okay? So I have also my partner, Michael Keller, and Daniel Nadotto. They are partners, okay? So let's go. And the main question is, most of you, I'm not sure if you are involved on this topic, but why governments or tax authorities are digitalizing their services, especially to tax authorities. Someone has an idea? No idea why they are doing this? Well, it doesn't matter. I believe most of you have an idea, but you are afraid to talk here. But basically, the main reason why the tax authorities worldwide are digitalizing their services because of the tax evasion. Okay? So there are a lot of money getting or stolen from companies basically, and then the governments, they started to fight against this tax evasion, because you can see here, this is data from 2015. As you can see here, for example, Italy lost 190 billion of euros on tax evasion. And this is a lot of money. And as you can see here, the second place, Germany. Who could think about that? Because the Germans, they are doing everything correct. But this is not true. They have also tax evasion there. Okay? So, so as we are talking about a lot of money, then the governments worldwide started to digitalize their tax authorities. And then they started to fight against the tax evasion, okay? And with the tax evasion, then popped up a buzzword, which is called eCompliance. And there are many contexts that you can use with eCompliance, but the one that I'm using here is related to taxes, okay? So, basically, but what is eCompliance? I will read this here for you to make it easier. eCompliance refers to the use of electronic methods such as electronic invoice and e-reporting to ensure business met their tax obligation accurately and efficiently, reducing error and enhancing transparency in financial transactions. Well, basically, we are talking about e-compliance is the use of electronic methods, such as electronic and e-reporting, so that business can meet their tax obligations, okay? Then we have identified here two main pillars. And we are going to talk about these main pillars today. But as we don't have so much time, I will focus on electronic invoice. Otherwise, the topic I can spend many hours talking about this, okay? So, but we have only half an hour, then I'm trying to give you my best so that you can understand what is it. So, electronic invoice, what is it is, you know everybody, there are many different definitions outside. Okay, I just pick up one that is from the EU defined. And the EU defined electronic invoice as a data set, okay, that has been issued, transmitted, and received in a structured format. But they are not defined the structure, how this should look like. Okay, so each country here in Europe can define the format itself. But the data set, this is something that is already defined by the EU. Good. Let's move forward. And now, please pay attention on this, the two next slides, because if you understand this, then you really will understand a little bit why countries are moving to the or are fighting against the tax evasion. No? So basically, we have three bubbles here. Down below, we have the taxpayers. We see the financial supply chain and physical chain. This is what we know nowadays. Invoices are being sending to buyers, and the physical goods is running there. So there are a lot of financial data exchange there. Okay, and on this bubble upside here, we have the tax authorities. So you exchange financial data there. Nowadays, you are reporting this tax data on monthly basis, on quarterly basis, or yearly basis. Okay? Separately, no connection. And this is called the post-audit paradigm. Okay? This is what currently happening today. Now, so to fight against the tax evasion, we have the so-called clearance model. And the clearance model integrates everything, taxpayer and the tax authority, everything on real time. And here we can see where is it, the eCompliance, just here in the middle of everything. So when you exchange data here, financial data, you are informing at the same time the tax authorities. Okay? So, well, now we understood we are moving from post-audit model to the clearance model. And now I will give you just an explanation. What is this clearance model? There are many different models. This is the basic one, just that you can understand what this means. Because now we have three stakeholders. One is the supplier, buyer, and tax authority. So here, the supplier, we are used, as I told you, the supplier will generate the invoice and would send it to the buyer, right? When you buy something, you receive the invoice directly. With the new clearance model, this is not like this. You generated the invoice, the supplier. First, this invoice will go to the tax authority. The tax authority will validate this information that you sent. And if everything is okay, then it's going to give you an approval and send it back to the supplier. And then the supplier is able to send the invoice to the buyer, only after the approval from the tax authority. And to fight against the tax evasion, so the buyer receives the invoice, right? So what's going to happen? The buyer can, once has the, let me say, the XML file or the PDF version of this XML file, can check on the tax authority if the invoice the supplier sent is exactly the same what the tax authority received. Okay, so closing the gaps, it's calling this. No, so the governments are closing the gaps so that then they can, so companies don't find a way how to, tax evasion. Good. So the next slide now, and how is evolving the electronic invoice market worldwide. No? So I have now a very short time lapse. It's a word map, okay, and this will show you how the electronic invoice market is evolving. Let's start. Yeah, these slides are from Bruno Koch. It's a guy from Switzerland, and he is working with electronic invoice since many years, and he is the absolute expert. So, and I got all these slides from his studies, okay, along the years. And basically what we can see here, in Europe now it's a wave where they are introducing all this eCompliance topic. And especially if we see here Spain, in 2025 or 26, depends, no, will becomes the electronic invoice mandatory for B2B. Okay, I'm talking about B2B. B2G nowadays is already mandatory. Some of you already worked with electronic invoice for face, no? You tell so, or you have here the so-called SII, but this is not an electronic invoice. This is a report. It's different. Well, but here we see in Latin America, we are pretty good developed on this topic. I am Brazilian, okay, so I know why. It's because a lot of tax evasion there. So they started earlier with this topic in order to try to avoid tax evasion. So, but now we are seeing the movement here in Europe, okay? So in 3 or 4 years, this will become everything red. And then Asia as well. So step by step. Yeah, okay. We saw this, and now I will talk a little bit about SAP. I just give you an understanding what is the electronic invoice, what is e-reporting, and why it's so important currently. Yeah, SAP document compliance. Oops, I have double slides here. Sorry. The SAP document and reporting compliance is divided in 2 main frameworks, okay? One framework is the e-document on the left side, as you see in here, And the other framework is statutory reporting. The e-document framework is there for the real-time data exchange with tax authorities. Okay, if you generate, for example, an invoice, then you need to generate the electronic version of this. And this is a transactional-based process. And this framework is there for this. And on the other hand, you have then the statutory reporting, which is more analytical tool, which will, well, extract the data, financial data, for example, and will process it, summarize it, and so that you can download it or send it automatically to the tax authority, depending on the country, okay? The solution is pretty good. However, the tax authorities, they don't offer APIs so that you can connect it directly to the tax authorities when we are talking about e-reporting. Okay, so, well, we understood SAP document and reporting compliance divided in two frameworks, and that's it. So, yes, and what is this? Now more related to the e-document, because we are talking about electronic invoice. SAP document and reporting compliance generate electronic documents, so that is able to transform then in a predefined format and send to the tax authorities. This predefined format that I'm talking about is per country, you have your own format, and then you have to transform the data that you extracted. The e-document is the canonical format, and then you transform this canonical format to a predefined format, which is, for example, for, let me say, in Hungary, you have a format. For Italy, you have a Fattura PA, which is also, they have their own format, no? So, and so on. So, yeah, and the solution landscape, I could spend many more time explaining you the solution landscape. I got the simplest one, okay, that can be more complex. So basically here on the left side, you have the SAP S/4HANA or ECC, okay? And the SAP DRC is installed here, and all the XML files that you generate or are going to be generated on this side, okay? On the middle, you have the SAP BTP, which is running then a service that's called SAP Document Reporting Compliance Cloud Edition. On this, service is there just to establish the communication with tax authorities, okay? There's no transformation there. It's just you can establish a connection to the tax authority. The maximum what you can do there is just to sign digitally an invoice. So, good. There are other topics I just don't want to go so in details because of the time. If you have questions, of course, you can come to me later on and ask. Here's some countries that are supported by the solution. As you see, it's the list is not bad. So many countries is already supported, and more countries will be supported. So currently, we have projects in Israel, but as you know, currently things are not going good there. So, yeah. And countries like Spain and Belgium, Romania, everything will start next year. So there are a lot to do, a lot of homework. So, and to succeed with this kind of project, it's not important that you are good in technology. Okay, it's important as well, but it's not the main topic. You need to technology knowledge, but also regulation knowledge, okay? So, and important is to build a good team, which is a mix between consultants and customer, but also the project setup, it's very important also to define, okay? So, yeah, so to reach success, so you need a good consulting team or your IT team, okay, internally, or and the customer must be from day one involved. So you need a tax advisor from the customer, must be involved in the project, but also the local business, okay, financial guys, so key user, they must be involved in this project. Otherwise, it's not going to be, you are not going to succeed. Yeah. And concerning the project approach, as I told you, you cannot use project like Activate or all these stuffs. This is not for this kind of implementation, okay? Here is pretty waterfall style, and you can use the same structure for all countries. And then you have phase 0, which is the scope definition, pre-sale stuffs, okay? So then you have the phase 1, which is implementing. Phase 2 is the go live, and phase 3 is basically hypercare phase, okay? And support. So, yeah, that's it. So I'm done with the presentation. If you want to connect with me, please just scan this 3D code. And yeah, we are based in Valencia. So yeah, you are welcome. Thank you so much. And to get an end, thank you so much to the organization. So, and for the opportunity to be here and present the SAP document and reporting compliance. Thank you, guys.